2:57. So we'll be starting in 2 minutes.
Maybe I can just do a quick startup. So, welcome everyone to ACE. Where you are right now is the ACE Ideation Center. I just want to let you guys know where you need to go in case you need the restroom. So, if you need the Wi-Fi password, is on the pillar. Okay, so the password, the Wi-Fi is ACE-public, and the password is all in caps ACE-guest. Okay, and if you need the restroom at any point in time, you can just head out and turn left. The restroom is just right there. Okay, if you need any help, you can reach out to the staff here. We are here to assist. Yeah, you can just reach out to any of us. Okay, I wish you a good workshop.
Okay, shall we begin 1 minute before time? We aspire to be like Japan, even though we are not Japanese. Okay, so thank you everybody for coming down and being a super early birds. Today we're going to learn the concept of rapid prototyping and bring that to landing pages. So very aptly, it's called How to Build a Landing Page in 5 minutes. I'm not yet quite sure of each of your experiences and how you look at landing pages yet. Or maybe you've tried to build it, or maybe you've heard of it. We'll go dive deep into each of those things. And so basically the concept is we're going to launch and optimize landing pages, but in a quick way, because I think sometimes businesses do want it to matter, but it can take quite long to get it off the ground, especially when it's not tied to the main core website. And we want them to be high impact. And so how can we go from 0 to 1 real quick? Today is going to be super interactive. So if you have your phone or your device, I would love for you to join the session. You can go to menti.com, menti.com, and use the code 43203430. Go to menti.com, menti.com, and use the code 43203430. So if you're logged in, I would love for you to give me a thumbs up. Awesome. I see a couple already, so you know what to do. So if you're just joining in, give me a thumbs up so I know you're there. Amazing. Quite a few people. Nice. All of the thumbs up spams. Thank you for joining. So just one more moment, join us at menti.com and use the code 43203430. So a lot of what I'm going to share, of course, there's going to be information coming your way, but I also want to make it interesting and adapt it to some of the things that you've been playing around with or trying or actively applying. So this is where you get to share your input. So I'm able to contextualize some of the things I'm sharing, or even the later part, we'll have a little bit of a demo and even space for you to jam. I want you to figure out if this is something that you can add your voice to and shape some of the conversations we're going to have later. Okay, amazing. We've got quite a few people who have joined us. Let's keep moving forward. Our focus for today is really to understand the role of landing pages in digital marketing. So we'll clarify that a little bit first, and then we'll learn what are the elements of a high converting landing page. How do you set it up for success? Once we know all of the building blocks for these, then we're going to go into AI tools to see how they can streamline some of the creation processes, because it is the traditional workflow where you might need maybe someone who's really good with words, someone who's really good with maybe engineering or development, someone who's really good with design, and traditionally they might work together to create it. But then we're in the age of AI where there's so many things that can be done without making it too laborious. So we're going to explore all of those things. What I'm going to invite you to do is stay open and stay curious. There's going to be maybe things you already know, or maybe things that are going to layer on and challenge some of the things that you already know, or maybe is common knowledge at this point because AI is quite new to the process. I also want you to join in and share some of your stories when I invite you to, maybe like jump into the conversation or maybe add to the mentee because again, like I said, the collective knowledge here is something that will really add to what is on your mind and how you would like to see outputs for yourself. And then maybe all of us are coming from very different, unique perspectives or ideas or backgrounds. So do extend a little bit of kindness and respect and hear everybody out. They might have something from their point of view and it could be interesting and valuable for us to see it from that perspective. So that is from me to you and you to me. And lastly, engage actively. It is not, there will be some sections where it's sort of like a one-way thing, but then the later part, it gets a little interactive as well. So I want you to join in and say, can we do that? Can we see this? Can we try that? And then there's also a section, like some of you with laptops, you could try workshopping some things and maybe partnering up with people at your table. So a little background introduction before we jump into it. My name is Anya. Our office at Hatch Media House is right up here at Block 71. We're a young digital and marketing and design agency. We're a social enterprise and we work with organizations of many different sizes, all the way from small movements, ground-up initiatives to SMEs to larger companies that have small projects. And we help them navigate the digital landscape. We've been thinking about what it means to be part of the digital landscape, especially in this age of AI, and what it means to have AI-enhanced processes. So a lot of what you're going to learn today is how we serve some of our clients and how we operate on some of our projects. And we'll tell you, even if you're using AI, where is that human layer of oversight that's needed? What can be risky when you put it out versus what can be approved or what part can you automate? I think these are all very important. These are tried and tested that we are optimizing every day, and it will be helpful for you to know, because I think sometimes because the concept of rapid prototyping is still new, especially in marketing, we might not fully know what processes to think about or how to engage with it. So that's us at Hatch Media House. So now this is the section. I would love to get to know you and where you're at, what your experience or background is. How often do you create landing pages? Or maybe if you have not yet, how often are you expecting to create landing pages? Maybe part of your work, part of your exploration for yourself. Maybe you have a side project, side hustle, something that you may have created a landing page for. It's okay that you're new to it. That means we all get to learn together. It's okay if you're further along the journey as well. That means that you have a little bit more to share. And that means that you have slightly different learnings from everybody else. So that's why I share that. If you do know a little bit more, do let me know through part of this process. So I'll be able to tailor different parts of it for you. Okay, so we've got never created one before, so today might be your first one. We'll get everybody to try one if you've got time later, or at least inspire you to try one later today when you get back. Occasionally, 1 to 2 times a year. That is super helpful to know. That means I give you more context, right? To help you understand what are landing pages and how to apply them more frequently. Okay, next one. If you may have heard of landing pages, what do you think are potential challenges? So for those of you who are I may not have done it, but what might be a challenge for me based on, your set of particular skill sets or the resources that you may have for yourself. You kind of know, some people are more writers, some people are more designers, and I think that's where you might already know, okay, if this is part of the process, then this is something that might be a little bit more of a mountain for me. Okay, we've got quite a broad mix, interesting. Quite a lot of people are in the design and layout phase. There's fewer people in the time management and efficiency. Oh, you all are very efficient, that's great. Conversion optimization, okay. copywriting and messaging, technical setup and integration. Okay, so there's a lot of you who are on the technical side, and then there's quite a lot of worries about the design and layout. Okay, does that mean you all feel more comfortable writing? Like, give me a thumbs up or thumbs down, like, no. You feel more comfortable writing? Okay, that's good to know. You all can write a lot of good marketing reports and strategies. Okay, so then which tools? If you've never created, then maybe you can take a guess, or maybe like, something that you may have heard of, and maybe a landing page on that. Or maybe, I might, do a landing page on Notion. These days, Notion is quite popular as a single page website. Google Sites, Wix. For those of you, I don't know if somebody's just joined, we're at menti.com. Use the code 4320 3430 on your phone or your laptop to join us. WordPress, Canva, Wix, and Google Sites. Very, very good options. Very traditional options also, right? Like tried and tested. We know like they have free options for us to start with, or if I want to like get my hands dirty and get it up from the ground. Quite a lot of Wix, that's why that's the biggest one. Do anybody have personal website on Wix? Quite a few. Any personal websites on Canva? Apparently you can have a website on Canva and connect a domain to it. Did you know that? That's quite cool if you're thinking of exploring options. Anybody, strikingly, that's a new one. I will go get a picture. HTML. We are hard coding it. Wow. Anybody using, what are some other options? I guess Google Sites. Anybody have a Google site website? Google site is free to begin with. Yes, no? Okay. WordPress. Anybody on WordPress or running a website or thinking of running a website on WordPress? Yes, what's your hand? Okay, WordPress. Okay. Yeah, lots of businesses, very traditional businesses, or at least in the Singapore scene, when we think about websites, we build it on WordPress. And also, we know that, sometimes if you are a registered business and you're looking for grant funding, WordPress websites are the first ones that get funded over like any other platform because it's something that's tried and tested. So it's a good starting place, regardless of where you are. We will look at, like what are possibilities. I will definitely introduce you to a couple of different options today. I will introduce you to maybe even one more free option that is up and coming and is a very tough competitor to some of these platforms that you can also integrate and use AI with. And regardless of where your website is today, you will learn how to plan a landing page so that you can build it fast. Okay? Super helpful to me. Okay, so when you are thinking of a landing page, I just want to get into your head a little bit if you will allow me. What are you thinking when you are creating the landing page? Ignore the word primary goal that doesn't speak to you. It's okay. We don't have to use keywords. But just think about, what do you want the page to do for you? Is it, do you want to collect information? Is it you want to sell something? Maybe bookings, commissions, display a portfolio? What do you think of when you think of landing page? Information sharing, marketing, starting a business, retention, very good ones. Information sharing, yeah. Conversion, very heavy marketing terms, that's okay. Display portfolio, for customers to reach you, yeah, that's amazing. If we are on the internet, people can reach us and what we do, and we are able to connect with more people who do that. Display portfolio, marketing, subscription. For someone who wants subscription, can I ask what's a subscription to? Like, do you offer any recurring services or products? Subscription? You can share over here or you can just speak out loud. Newsletter, yeah, that's a really good one. Reach target audience, yes. We will be thinking and talking about target audiences as well later. So very, very important things that you all are thinking about. Collect info, that's also right. You're thinking about the right things when you're thinking about building a landing page. But oftentimes it can feel overwhelming. It's like I want to reach this, like I want to either have a conversion or I want to collect something or I want somebody to take an action. If it's not just for display purposes, then I really have to think about my target audience, right? Because it isn't just display. I need to be in their headspace. I need to think about, wow, like what is it that's going to get them to take that action? People are not that like free with their attention these days as much as we like to think it is. Attention is free. Everybody's scrolling on Instagram and stuff, but people are becoming more like like guarded. They don't give away the info that easily these days. There's privacy issues and also like questions of how will my data be used or why am I? Is this going to be valuable to me? People tend to ask a lot of questions, and that's our audience. We want anything from them. They are primarily going to say, how is this going to add value to my life? And so it's very important to consider your target audience. And for those of you who talk about, just display portfolio, think about what is the purpose for your portfolio display. It's likely that you want to build credibility for yourself in some industry or maybe some form of authority. Maybe you want to display your track record with something. You also want to maybe gain opportunities, either collaboration opportunities or maybe like employment opportunities or maybe like a creative, like commissions opportunities like that. Usually when we tend to display information. How it can be factual. So let's say you're an impact organization and you're trying to say, this is how we've used the donor money. This is how we're impacting things on the ground. This is our theory of change. This is why your money is valuable to our cause. So then we really, again, have to think about what is it that I want the people who are reading my landing page to take away from this? And then we need to connect the dots. How does this fit into their lives? How does this fit into all of the other things that they are seeing, on their phones, on their other devices? So thank you everybody for sharing. This is super helpful. We'll revisit some of these as we keep going further. And this is just, like sometimes in marketing, what we call a campaign, right? If any of you are thinking of creating campaigns are not always paid. Sometimes they are just like, let's get everybody to push this link out. Or maybe it's like, let's get everybody talking about this. Or maybe let's make posters about this. Sometimes some people run ads against it. But maybe sometimes you get featured on somebody else's newsletter or maybe somebody else's website or Instagram page. Or maybe you have a media opportunity and they feature you. So all of them come under some form of campaign, which I'm very loosely defining as a push to get yourself seen. So maybe on a personal level, you have like a personal campaign that says, I want editors to look at my photography portfolio. That's also a personal campaign. It's just a way of structuring your activities that are marketing related. So how do you decide when you need a landing page? If the landing page is going to be different from your website or maybe a sub-page of your website. How do you decide? You can make a guess. If you have theories on how you want to use it, that's also welcome. It doesn't have to be like right or wrong. It's just a way of thinking. So I'd love to hear how you want to structure some of this. Any thoughts on this? How do you decide when to use a landing page? It's a lot of effort, right? A landing page is a lot of effort. So I need to know when to use it. How do you know when to use it? Anybody else? Again, the answer will differ from person to person and organization to organization. Like, it really is how much effort am I putting into this? What am I going to get out of this? So there's no right or wrong answers. Maybe if you're a larger organization, you may have something like a new project that cannot be directly typed and you need a microsite. But maybe if you are doing like a small ground up initiative, maybe having a landing page to have all of the information is helpful, even though you have an Instagram page. Gives you a little bit more credibility sometimes. Overseas clients, helpful. I'm just going to extrapolate that idea and think, maybe if you're sending proposals, if it's like a high net worth sales proposal, maybe you want to create a tiny microsite for every proposal that goes out. And listen, if we are like solo creators, a 10K, 20K proposal might feel like a lot. If we are a larger company, maybe like a 100K, 200K like proposals can feel like it is worthy of that personalization. But we also don't want to get stuck, putting in too much effort each time we create it. When you want a larger customer base or reach a larger customer base, yes, sometimes not all of them are on one individual platform. So anytime you have a link on a web on the internet, that's not like an Instagram link or a Facebook link or something like that, there is more opportunities to engage and interact with people. For a new project, yeah, absolutely. Anytime you have a new project and you want to communicate that idea, the first thing that you want to track is a landing page. For solo creators or individuals, the value is that you get to have articulation of your ideas. Because the exercise in trying to communicate and create a landing page, it just means that you are able to consolidate like a single line of thought that gets people to take action. Often when we come up with an idea, it's not that clear, right? I tend to be like guessing like what are my details, or maybe I'm just like still unsure about some things, but having to put it down in black and white is an exercise in itself. But then for a business, it's actually a validation of something that we have like, oh, I'm going to try this. It's a seed that I'm going to put out. Are people going to respond to it when I distribute this link, or when I get people to this link? Are they going to click? Are they going to be interested? So if you have a business idea and you don't want to put in a lot of effort and then in the end discover that it's not something that people will take action on, a landing page is a really, really quick way to figure out, once people are there, are they taking that action? Are they connecting with your audience? And so once we know some of those metrics, kind of works out. And you have, okay, actually people are reading, but how come they're not taking action? Should I change something? Oh, actually people are on my page and they're taking action. That means they're interested. That means I want to do more of this, or I want to optimize for more of these actions. But then if nothing is happening, consider asking yourself, have enough people visited the landing page? Oftentimes, a lot of us think we just create a site or a link, and that is the first thing. But there's also a distribution process. How are you putting this link or this page in front of people? And once it's in front of people, are they coming onto the page to take action? So first step is checking for visitors. So we'll do a little bit of that later, but primarily I like to structure it as either a new project or new idea for the same, like product or service that I want to try out. Example, one of the ideas I have is maybe the zoo wants to increase people who come to Bird Park. Can you come up with campaign ideas? Just shout out. What is it? Okay. How would you create a campaign idea? Quick one, doesn't have to feel very feasible. Anybody? Bring the zoo to the community. Wow, that's so cool. Like, what if you could have, like, maybe the smaller zoo animals that visit neighborhoods? It doesn't make sense to put all of the information on the main zoo page when they have 3 different parks and admissions and everything, right? Maybe it warrants a microsite where the details are there, and they're going to share pictures and videos of this, and then maybe they'll share like the trail or like the timings, maybe admission. A landing page is very helpful then to separate this content out. Thank you. And so you get the idea, like sometimes we have an existing product or a service that we want to engage with audiences in a new way. So we think of like a campaign. So that's when we create landing pages. And so I would like you to think about like what might slow you down during a landing page creation. What aspects are you curious to learn on how to speed up, or maybe like fill in your knowledge gaps? Maybe you already know how to write. So is it that you want layouts? Is it that you want to explore alternative like softwares? There's lots of things up in this brain that I would love to share. And if you tell me what you want to learn more of, we have more of like a demo session later. and I'll walk you through all of those possibilities. The coding and design aspects. I have some bad news to share. Today is a low code, no code day. What does that mean? That means I'm not going to do hands-on coding. The rapid prototyping involves using tools. Maybe if you want, you can have a little bit of a manual override and code it. But for the most part, we want it to be super quick, super accessible, so you don't have to think about getting the code right, but it's done for you. Okay? Designing, lots of design, okay. Lots of design. Are you able to elaborate a little bit more on the design? Is it like are you thinking about how do I create the user journey and then incorporate it into design? Are you thinking about like, oh, I have this information, how do I create a layout for it? Or how do I match the layout with the information? Is it like I have a brand, I don't know how to incorporate it into the design? Or is it that I don't know how to do layouts? Teach me how to do user interface for landing pages. Streamlining the processes using AI. Thank you. Okay, I will share more later. Easy navigation of information with design thinking. That's super helpful, right? Because half the battle is won if you have a good plan before you go into building it. So we're going to think about how we're going to structure our thoughts. How to incorporate AI to assist in brainstorming. I will show you how to do that. How to make it intriguing for viewers to see. Design seamless interface that is pleasing to the eye. Okay, cool. We'll do a little bit of that. But today is not like a pure design sort of session. We have a couple of other sessions. I think maybe we'll share at the end that are more about like website design optimization and other like content optimization. So I think purely like jumping into design, some of those other modules might be better suited for deep dives. But I will definitely look into it. Cool transitions. I don't know about that. I will suggest some tools, but I don't know if today might be the day for cool transitions. But I will definitely share some resources. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. Okay, so I already know what you want to learn today, but I know some of you saw other people's responses. Was there anything interesting to you that you felt like, oh, actually, now that I read it, I want to learn that too? Anything popped up? Or maybe it's about like landing pages itself, because I know some of you have not done it yet. So like, is there anything specific that you're thinking about, or maybe you're stuck at or extremely curious about? Because the theme for today is follow your curiosity. You can ask questions as I'm sharing later. So anytime you can just, like put your hand up and share or like shout out. I think it will be helpful for me. Okay, I'm going to take it that everybody's going to share when you're curious, so you have permission to jump in whenever you see something interesting and you have a thought bubble or a question later. We have a question. Make good user interface. Okay, I will show you some tools. Know the fundamental information needed in a landing page and what makes one particular landing page stand out. Okay, super helpful. Okay, let's dive in. What is a landing page? I know we've been talking a lot about it, but I have a feeling that a lot of us might have some overlaps in the information, but some of us may not necessarily be thinking of the same thing. So just to be on the same page, I'm going to take you through some of these things. So landing page is like a standalone web page, like a website, but solo page. And we're specifically designing landing pages to fulfill like a single focus objective. Usually it's a little different from a single page website. It's a little different from other websites as well because of the difference in I'm going to focus only on one objective. Like my main goal is to get a visitor and get them to do something or take away something specific from this page. The reason for that is landing page are typically used in marketing campaigns. So then, for example, when you want newsletter signups, when you want to download an ebook, or maybe when you want like make a purchase, maybe these are all pages that can exist on other website pages. But let's say that I'm going through an exercise in either getting more of these actions done, or maybe I want to focus only on these actions, or maybe I want to optimize So maybe on my website, for every 100 visitors, only like 2 people sign up for my newsletter. But what if I want to monetize my newsletter, or maybe I want to get more people on my email list, and that's one of my objectives. So then what I can do is I can create a landing page for just like a newsletter sign up. And then the core focus is I'm just going to focus on newsletter sign up. So the goal, the baseline goal is I want it to be for every 100 people that visit, the sign up rate has to be more than 2 people. So like I would start with goals like that. Okay, and then you can see how from that line of thinking it arises. What's going to get people to subscribe to this newsletter? Or what's going to get people to focus on this objective? And if there's any action, what action should I be taking? So these pages are very crucial in marketing funnels and journeys because they take away distractions. You know, on our website, before making a purchase, have you all done that where you add something to the cart and then you just don't do anything about it? Right? How many of us have walked away after we added something to the cart? That's a lot of us. And that's honestly the norm, right? But then if you want people to check out now, purchase now, do this now, get this now. I mean, sometimes the copy has to, like, something about sales, or maybe you're going to miss out or something like that. But it doesn't have to be only that. Like, for example, the microsite for the zoo, right? It can just be, figure out when it's coming to your neighborhood and then maybe make a booking. That's the core action because they can't do that on the main website. And here the metrics are maybe get like a $5 ticket to go with your child or maybe your neighbor. So that's when we're thinking of landing pages as part of our conversion strategy in marketing, and they will create like a tailored experience that helps the visitor take focused actions. So we talk about like a lot about visitors' intent. There are times when I Google something and then I say chocolate milkshake. Am I looking for a recipe for a chocolate milkshake? Am I looking to buy now a chocolate milkshake, maybe from McDonald's or somewhere close to me? Or am I looking for pictures of chocolate milkshake? Or am I looking for videos on how to make a chocolate milkshake? The intent is different behind just those 2 words, right? So it's the same. In marketing, visitor intent is everything. So if someone's on my website or my landing page and I'm not able to cater or deliver to the intent in that stage of their journey, then they might not proceed further or they might be a dead block pathway. So here we will decide, okay, actually this part of the journey, this landing page is super important for them to take actions. Maybe we want them to find the course dates and sign up specifically to this course. Maybe we want them to book a call with me for a course that they are thinking about signing up for. Maybe it's a high ticket purchase and they need to build trust before they actually buy, so they need to book a call with me. So these are all very valid things that sometimes I hear buyers say. It's not just like a $5 purchase. Sometimes even $5 purchases, people will think about it and we create landing pages for it. It's just like natural to help people think through their activity. So a couple of use cases. I think we already discussed a few, but I want to share like a more generalized idea. We do typically landing pages for lead capture. A lead is anytime we're collecting information. So as you share, people who are interested in what we're doing, sometimes it's in exchange for something of value. So maybe like I'm going to say, I'm going to give you a free guide. Can you give me your email? I'm going to do like a free webinar for you. Can you give me your email? I mean, I'm going to use different words on the landing page, but that's a primary concept. We use it for lead capture. Sometimes it's not required. Maybe I'm just displaying my info, and if they are interested, they will just put in their information. Okay. Next one is click-through page. So like if you have e-commerce, or maybe you have like something that's an online purchase, a bigger online download, or maybe like, it's B2B, it's a sales proposal that you really need people to take action. So this landing page is a middle, middle of the journey sort of standalone page that will help people connect with either the service or the offer or the company, and then it will get them to build trust or address any risks or worries or concerns. Typically, before taking an action, people might be confused, or maybe they might be very risk averse, or maybe they're like, this isn't for me. So this is to build resonance, to help them identify themselves, or maybe to help them see themselves in a positive outcome or a positive light. So this is a landing page, and then you can direct them to a checkout page or to do something else. So it's a click-through page. Finally, it's a sales page. Not that different, it's just that the functionality is a little different, right? On a sales page, you're directly like trying to get a sales lead versus a click-through page maybe is often like serve yourself or self-serve type of thing. So sales pages can be both like, e-commerce, or maybe you're a freelance photographer and then you want to put your information there. And so it is also a form of sales page, as much as, sales doesn't have to sound like a salesy type of selling. So anytime you want to hopefully gain like gain a customer or gain a client, you go through like a prospecting process. So that's when you have a sales page. They typically tend to fall in any of these three categories. And then as an extension, you could really feel like maybe I'm going to display my portfolio. Maybe I want to have like a single page website for what I do. It can be an extension of this, but then focus around the objective. So something unique to landing pages, again, like I said, we don't confuse it with a regular website. Sometimes we'll say, do not have, like when you go to a website, you have a menu, right? Home, about us, maybe like services. We'll say take that bar away. Why? Any ideas? Why should we take that bar away? We tend to be very cliquey. What happens if I want to sign up for a gym membership? First, I will Google, maybe, or maybe I'll hear about something on Instagram. I'll go to their website. I'll go through so many pages. Maybe I'll see what classes do they offer. What is the gym about? Like, who are the trainers? Maybe let me read. Then you'll go to their membership packages page. Then you'll keep clicking, and then, of course, it's going to help build trust, but it's not getting me as a user to that action any sooner. So the goal is to take away those distractions, but keep the key content and information on the same page. So I'm taking away their ability to click into all of these things, and anytime I put any other link on the page, it's a very intentional choice to keep it there. Okay, so the unique thing about landing pages is we focus on only one goal. So whatever that goal is, direct people to only that goal whenever you need it. So every element is designed to support sort of these type of things. The next thing is visitor segmentation. Okay, I'll give you an example. Let's say the zoo is going to run ads on the little campaign idea, which is like the zoo comes to your neighborhood. Do you think the page for Badok should be the same as Jurong East? No, why not? Yeah, so the answer was catering to a different audience and maybe even tailoring the sort of animals to the different communities' interests, or maybe like a different type of activity in each neighborhood. Right, so that's very interesting, and in that way they get to really hyper segment their visitors. I mean, Singapore is small, but it's very important, like, people in Bedok don't just go to Jurong East, right? People in Jurong East don't just go to Bedok. I mean, it's there, sometimes we do it, but it's an intentional choice. So it's helpful for people, one, who want to come in from outside neighborhoods, but it's also helpful for people who live in those neighborhoods to decide if that microsite is going to be helpful for them. So in the same way, maybe I'm a fashion e-commerce site. The page for maybe skirts and dresses is going to be very different from the page that sells boots and belts and accessories. Because the people who are looking for the two things can overlap at some point. But then when they're trying to consider if they want to buy the things, they might not be thinking about it at the same time. So you want to think about how you're going to reach that audience and the head state that they are in. And that's why we want to create visitor segmentation. So it's the same when you're doing a sales proposal, which is also why, like, maybe if there's a separate type of proposal for government agencies versus like small to medium-sized businesses, the type of collaboration for the same service. It's a little different approach because I think maybe if we are trying to partner with government agencies, we will say, actually, this is the efficacy of our service. These are the outcomes. These are the impact that we have created. But then maybe in partnership with other businesses, my angle and the pitch would be different. Maybe I will say, actually, this is the value to you and your audience because this is what we bring to the table. This is how we can align. So you can see like my messaging changes as soon as my visitor segment changes. So sometimes we make space for it and we will create multiple variations for the same campaigns and direct different visitors. So it can just be how we distribute these things. Like it could be targeted ads for certain visitors or maybe like, we'll post certain links in certain places. So only certain types of visitors tend to go there. So for everybody else, it can be that, we put in front of them what is going to convince them and fit into their headspace and their life. So that persuasion doesn't feel manipulative, but persuasion feels like it's a right fit. We're not even doing like the hard work of trying to change their mind. Their mind is already made up. We're just appearing in front of them and resonating. Yeah? It also increases conversion, by the way. Anytime, like, you have a website and you're thinking, how do I increase conversion? It's helpful to create targeted visitor segmented pages. So other thing, by going into that is conversion optimization. So it's really the focus is taking the same action, but it doesn't have to look spammy. Sometimes maybe you've seen some ads or landing pages that are like, oh, come down to this, take action now. If you don't, this offer will go away. It doesn't have to be that spammy. You don't have to keep repeating the same words. You can re-angle, it can say, book a discovery call, have a chat with, the team. So you can change the wording. So it's really about making space for the same action in the nicest way possible when we are holding that focus. So that's why landing pages approach it with like this ruthless ability to chip away all of the distractions. It's not the same as a website. Websites can become really bloated. So in different parts of the marketing funnel, the landing page will look and feel a little different. And this is just a guide. Obviously, you can break the guide. It's not like a must-do type of thing. Top of the funnel, and you all heard of the marketing funnel? Yes, in some shape or form, right? So the premise is marketing is shaped like a funnel. At the top, there are more people. As we come down, there are fewer people, but the fewer people are more interested in what we have to offer. And right down at the bottom, they convert into our customers or loyal fans, if it's a community. So at the top, the goal is really to capture interest and start building a relationship. These are people who are coming and they don't know anything about us. So they will be evaluating whether we are worth keeping in their life, whether we are worth revisiting on this landing page, to put it simply like that, So this type of landing page can be like raising awareness, building like a broad educational type of content, or maybe giving them an overview of what you have to offer, and then figuring out what is it that can get them into the next stage of the journey with you, which is the consideration stage. What do you need from them? Like if there are people who are just coming to your website and then walking away, of course they're top of the funnel. But we are interested in building a landing page that has some form of conversion so we can take it to the next stage. So I need at least their contact details or their email so I can reach out to them again and nurture them. Okay? So an example for this can look like, oh, here's a free ebook, a free resource, free checklist, free worksheet, some form of information exchange for their contact. This is the easiest way. You don't need ads to run this. You can have any idea and build something of value. This something of value is not to us, yeah. This something of value, you have to keep in mind, it should be for our target audience. So let's imagine I'm a content creator and I like hiking. So my Instagram page is filled with the photos, videos, and stories of my hikes all around the world. How cool is that, right? And my audience loves seeing the world through my lens. They love interacting with me. Maybe there are people who have already finished, like some of the hikes that I have. Or maybe there are people I have met at some point during these hikes around the world. Or maybe there are people who may never hike, but the content is very interesting to them because they live through me. It's valuable to them. Maybe they don't want it, but this is their way of having it in their life. You can see there are very distinct audience segments that I described, right? So if I want to build a landing page, top of the funnel, maybe I'll say top ranking how to prepare for a hike in Thailand, a checklist of what you need to prepare for as a solo female traveler. Why even more niche, right? But that's so relevant if anybody who is solo traveling as a female in Asia, maybe there's a lot of people who are coming from the West and they don't know anything about the Asian landscape. Isn't that of value? What seems like common sense to me? So always look at the offer or the value of what you're giving away from the lens of who is going to receive it. Is this going to be of value to them? And like for us, sometimes it comes very easy to create this content. Don't overcomplicate it. Just think about what is it that I know that this person doesn't know, or these people don't have that insight. They want to step into my mind, or my organization, how we view things, our philosophy of navigating this, or our view of this industry or market or this process. How can we give them this value? So keep it very simple. Doesn't have to be overcomplicated. Like I think they will love it even if it's just 1 or 2 pages. And it's an opportunity to get their emails in exchange and then go into the consideration stage. For the same example, you don't need to build a landing page because you already have their email. So you should be using other strategies to nurture them when you already have their email. But let's say maybe as the same creator, I'm going to do like a 30-day mental preparedness program for solo female travelers. The world is very harsh. Maybe some of us have a desire to travel, but we're too afraid of what the world can offer. Not just in terms of like physical safety, but I think also in terms of mental readiness. How do I share this with my family? How do I, navigate unknown cultures and landscape? How do I budget for these things? Maybe it's a 30-day online program, 1 hour every day. Maybe I'll create a landing page for them to consider because I already have the email. And so that's a different offer. And this is an opportunity to build trust and position your product, offer, or service. So if we have any other services, maybe like we want to create like an educational course about something else as an organization. This is the stage when people are already evaluating and they know they want to sign up for something, but they're considering, is this the one I want? Why is this right for me? So they're actively looking for solutions. They're actively looking for alignment and connection. It needs to be the right use of their resource, whether it's time, attention, money, some of these things. So this is an opportunity to build trust and demonstrate that we understand them. So the next stage, we'll do like a product comparison. The same stage is maybe you'll call out like, you can sign up for other courses, but here's what's different about our course. We have an expert coming in, we have this type of after course support. Sometimes we do watch out for like, what is my learning style and how that will overlap. So like, deeply knowing your audience helps you think about how to engage with them on these types of pages. And the goal is really, again, here similar goal, probably getting them to sign up for whatever it is that you want them to purchase, or maybe it's an event and you want them to turn up. Bottom of the funnel is where you've got a couple of final opportunities before you really get them to convert into paying customers, or if it's a impact or ground up initiative or a side project, It's really like you want to be chosen for that decision, whether it's about volunteering, whether it's about, maybe you as a collaborator for a certain project, certain types of things. It's really about converting like the people who are right at the edge to go over the line. So you notice the first person who gets, targeted with the top of the funnel landing page is probably not in the same headspace to get the bottom of the funnel landing page in the same moment in time. You will have to wait until they arrive in this place, like in their headspace. So it's a journey. And for some industries, the journey is as quick as one day. Like, e-commerce, if I really know I want something, I know I want something. But for some people in the same industry, it takes 30 days to make a purchase or something like that. So there's really no benchmarks per se. It's what you know about your customers and how they have historically interacted with you. So that's why gathering data at every step of the phase is important. Any questions so far about like how we use landing pages for the funnels? Good to move forward? Okay. Okay, so yeah, example is, just sign up today, buy now. Maybe Straits Times wants you to purchase their subscription. They're always telling me that, something like that. So these are like where the typical sales page is. We've had that initial chat. They know about my company. I've already shared about what I have to offer, and here we're really making that final deal. Yeah. So some key elements need a marketing strategy, as you already saw. It doesn't have to be like super long drawn, but you need a reason to have a landing page, right? I asked you, what's the reason you want a landing page? And I told you they fit in different parts of the funnel. So you must know how they connect to your overall objectives of what you want to achieve. So that's why I'm calling it a marketing strategy. So it's a very focused action that I'm going to take if I'm going to use my resources to make that landing page. Next, design and layout. Very important, but these days, for the mobile as well as for the web, that desktop version, the design needs to be something that is not just functional, but also really nice, to be very honest. Like most audiences prefer good design, but there is a section where maybe the design is not the primary driver and it's more about the messaging. So you have to figure out what is valuable to your audience. For example, maybe if I'm in like the aesthetic things, maybe I'm a creative professional, illustrator, photographer, or maybe in those type of creative industries, or maybe even fashion. Aesthetic is everything, and that's when you need to pay extra attention to the layout. But let's say if you're more in the B2B space, or it's just more of like a side project where the heart of the idea is what's more important. As long as it's clean and professional looking, you don't have to go over the line to get the design part right. Value proposition. This is something that people miss out on. I was able to describe like how I connected with my audience. And I do believe that anytime you're making any of these pages for yourself or for your organization, you know this. But sometimes it's not translated inside the messaging. And it's always important to highlight the value proposition. Like it's not just about sharing like highlights of or features of the products and services that you are offering, but really position it as a unique thing and how it will fit inside the audience's life. And think about it from their point of view and highlight how you're going to be unique. But you don't have to say, I'm unique in this way. Just think about a very subtle way to make it unique. And we'll look at it a little bit later when we do some of the demos on how you can be subtle. Like we don't have to just call out like our value proposition is. Like we want to engage in more like subtle ways, but that still drives the point home. The final thing is once you know the marketing strategy and the value proposition, it's about putting them into the messaging, like the copywriting, and then having the call to action really prominently identified and just making sure that the plan that we have, the focus, is now actionable and people are flowing through that. Okay? And finally, there's a little bit of analytics and setup that we do, especially if we are choosing to collect data on this site. This is very helpful for me to know if people are coming to the website, if people, are taking actions, which buttons they're clicking on. This will give me a sense of what's working and what's not working. We We won't go through like very deep analytic setups today, but I will share some tools that you can try out that are free to begin with and you can implement with ease. Okay. Yeah. So when we think about landing pages, those 5 things can be quite complex. Yes, the raw will rightfully take its own time to develop if you want to develop it with care and attention. But we are approaching this era where sometimes taking slow action is not very helpful for us because we miss out on certain activities or trends, and it's very important to approach it from like a rapid prototyping headspace. That means that once I make a prototype, I'm not calling it finished. I'm not saying it's the best version that it can be, but I'm approaching it as I have arrived at 50 to 60% of the way, and it's good to get started. Move like done is better than perfect. And then I get to optimize it. If this is a bet, I want to continue to make, like stand behind. Because oftentimes when we're creating campaigns or creating content, a lot of it is like bets that we're making in marketing and seeing which ones take off. And some of them might not take off. So imagine I spend like 3 months with my team of 4 people and we put up a landing page for a campaign that did not take off and it's chirping crickets. All of us, we put in so much effort. So it's not just the company's money, but it's also about all of our team's morale. So we really want to approach it from like a quick, rapid prototyping. Once people come and interact, the analytics will tell us what's working and what's not working. And then we can continue to optimize. Okay? So for today, I'm going to use ChatGPT. Are you all using ChatGPT? Lots of you nodding. Okay. So if you are using, that's really good. So I'll teach you how you can start using ChatGPT on your own as part of this process, what you should be prompting or how you can get it to help align with your marketing report or how you can align it with some other outcomes that you have. You can use any other conversational agent. There's like Claude, there is Perplexity. Any of you using those two? I see some nods. If you have not yet tried, I think they have a free version. You can try that out. And then at Media House, we've developed a special custom GPT. Anybody uses a custom GPT? Anybody know what custom GPT is? It's just Chat GPT, but I give my own unique instructions and teach it my own specific things. So at Media House, we have our own unique custom GPT that we use to build landing pages. It has one role. Think of a custom GPT as a specialist on your team. A Chat GPT is a generalist who can do everything. So our custom GPT will just focus on optimizing a landing page or maybe going from 0 to 1 real quick and giving us like the content. All I need to do is go and put it out in my website. So we'll try those out too. And then I'm going to introduce you to this thing called Framer. Framer is a website builder, but to get started with one page, they have a generational AI, meaning you can use AI to design your layout, and then you can incorporate like your brand and go live with it really, really quick. So in combination, the ChatGPT for the marketing strategy and like the copy to begin with, in combination with Framer, I will show you how you can have something up and running very quick. Framer also has a free plan, so if anybody is looking to use like a free website or maybe like a free landing page for some of your offerings, obviously it will say .framer.com at the back, but you can have like a free version. If you want to connect the domain, you can also connect the domain. So I will share some of these tools and a little bit more based on what you also indicated as we do the demo, and I'll get you to try. But before we jump into it, I want all of us to try something. We're going to have 5 minutes to do a lightning jam. A lightning jam means we're not going to focus too much on making sure we're getting it right, but the idea is to just rapidly ideate on things that come to our mind, like flashes of inspiration. So I want you to take 5 minutes, okay? You can do it on a piece of paper, maybe on your phone, or maybe on your laptop. So think of a business, okay? The business is a plant nursery, And the plant nursery wants to sell succulents. Do you all know succulents? You know, the little pots, and then they have, some of them have spikes, but some of them are leafy, and then they have a lot of water. We're not supposed to be watering them too frequently because of how much water they hold. So the business is, it's a plant nursery selling succulents. And the landing page is to get people to order succulents. Okay, I want you to take 5 minutes. Think of, if you're very visual, you can doodle what it could look like. If you are more of like an ideas and thoughts person, you can write it down. But think of the content and the sections that you would have on this landing page to make sure that this landing page converts. What's the conversion action? Order succulents. Okay, place an order for succulents. It's probably going to be an email order. They don't have e-commerce. Okay, ready? Okay, I'm going to give you 5 minutes. 5 minutes of uninterrupted time. We have about half a minute left. Okay, we have finished our 5 minutes. It's okay if you haven't finished, or it's okay if you have more ideas that are waiting. But the important point is probably had like top of mind things come out to you. So I'm just going to walk around the different tables and you'll share with me and I'll share with the rest of the audience like what like interesting things have come up on different tables. One, it's an opportunity to see like really there's no right or wrong in landing pages and marketing. Everybody has a unique idea and the goal is just to put it out and see how the audience responds. And after that, I will show you what like the rapid prototyping for this could look like. Okay. So first table, if you want to share what some of these had, and you want to be talking like the picture. What really ideas, I think one was put like pictures of the products, and then if needed, like link them to the actual products, maybe write descriptions with it of like the supplements. One of the other ideas was include like past customer order reviews, that would make it trustworthy. And then also have like benefits, oh, what will this add to your life kind of thing. And then I think the other one which was really nice was maybe have a section where there's like a checklist of how to take care. It's for people who are new to it, right? Yeah. And then this people, any ideas to that? So we have like some sections which are like facts about the plant. Maybe some people are interested in facts. We have one person who's already done like a, like a little visual with succulents and some bonds for exploration. So that's rapid prototyping too. That's cool. Um, Okay. So here there's an idea of maybe there's a section where they'll have a lead magnet, like a how to take care of your plant, kind of like a video guide in exchange for their contact details. I'm going to assume that this is for people who are not ready to purchase it. So primary So one is maybe a section where you have like a do's and don'ts of taking care of succulents as a plant. I think that's a really lovely idea as well. So we have some really lovely ideas. We have two people who have slightly different variations of like quizzes. One is more like a personality quiz, like, oh, which succulent matches your vibe type of thing, like a match. And then you get a response, and then you get to be directed to like, oh, this is the right fit for you. And then the other option is which, like how would you discover what's the right fit? Like, I work from home, you work outside, what's your living space like maybe, and like how much time you have to spend and things like that, more like the functional aspects. And then you get matched to potential succulent options, and then you get like a promo code while you're on the landing page to use it. So it's like you get to take action right there. And I think we had one more action, one other section idea here, which is that, like succulents bring a lot of beauty to our life. So it's kind of like getting like how are succulents in the space for all the people who purchase them, sort of like a slightly testimonial section, but also like in a way where maybe it appeals to the value system rather than like a purely testimonial type of thing. Why not people? Yeah, yes.
About that this is for user and focus on helps. So you use so automatically very good I use it so the ideas.
So here is kind of like a gift for someone along with like how those succulents add to your life in terms of quality of air, improving mood, so more of like the health benefits, yeah. And then appealing to like give things I as well. So a little bit of a blend, and people might be trying to combine it a little bit. So one is the plant nursery itself, like who's behind it. It's really important to know like the journey or the founder story or the business story. So here we have one idea which is talking about, oh, here's my journey with this and succulents in general. So they can get to know the person and they're not just taking home succulent, but a piece of this journey and story and add sort of the community. And I think the other section we will combine these two ideas is having like not just photos of the plants, but also combining reviews together with them. So it is more trustworthy and people can know when they're looking at just the photos or the products itself, how to make a decision that is right for them. So as you can tell, there's so many lovely ideas. Thank you everybody for participating. I think you discovered that because I gave you a fictional business, we didn't actually have a target audience segment, right? And you can see everyone went with a different target audience in mind. Like maybe some overlap, but some is like gifting, some of them are like a founder's story, different types of people relate to all of it. And maybe some of them are like first-time buyers. Some of them could be repeat buyers. So maybe like the way to appeal to them is different. Maybe the website is for, like people who are really good with plants and have them around. They have a different way of navigating purchasing plants. I don't know if you have noticed. I'm the kind of person who's tried purchasing a lot of plants and has unfortunately killed them, not by intention. But for me, when I look at a website, I have really no clue how to make the decision of purchasing a plant. So like someone who knows their way around in this world is going to make their choice, and different signals are going to sound out to them differently. So you can tell straight away, like, okay, if this was a very large nursery like Far East Flora and they're doing a campaign, we can have like a very targeted campaign for each segment. We can be like, you know what? First-time buyers, this landing page. For gifts, this landing page. For people who are returning customers, this page. For people who are plant lovers, this page. For people who are new to plants, this page. And then we will run tests across all of them. And this will obviously require a different set of budget and skills. But you can see why. Because if I'm focused on trying to optimize my conversion, I'm going to figure out among my target audience, existing audience, and new audience, who is going to resonate with which message? Did it disconnect? Oh yeah, the wire. Oh, okay, okay. Sorry. Okay, sorry for the interruption. Yeah, so like as a larger business with possibly more resources, sometimes we do tend to explore which is going to give us the best return. Sometimes it's like a, hey, I'm going to send out these links in 5 email newsletters or equally to all of my subscribers and see which ones give us the most returns. Sometimes it is structured ad campaigns, or sometimes we will optimize them for SEO, meaning they will natively appear on Google search results, and we'll see which one ranks higher, which one has a higher demand, and we'll make choices based on that. But for the purposes of today, we're going to assume that it's okay. Like later when you get to workshop, you can approach it from a unique angle. But we're just going to assume that it's a smaller business, and we're obviously going to have to make some tough choices. Because for a smaller business, I'm only going to make one landing page and see how it converts or directs people, and then make choices in the future for the sections that don't work out. So I need a plan of action for this. Like, okay, I might have different types of audience, maybe my business is at a certain stage. There are certain assumptions I'm going to make about my business. So I need you to set the stage for that so we can combine, like, work with it. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions and we'll figure out the answers together. And then I'll jump into ChatGPT and we'll figure out how to approach it. So how old is my business? Is the nursery business? Actually, I have an answer. 2 years old. So relatively new. Is it well established in 2 years, or is it still struggling? So go for it, go for it. Okay, it's a struggling business. Been established for, hello? Okay, we'll go with that. So it's the grandson of the person who runs Far East Flora. He now wants to prove his worth by building a successful business on his own. So he knows a lot about plants just by the nature of being around it, but he's decided he's not going to tap into any of the big business and build it by himself on his own through his stories and through his business acumen or whatever it is. So he's on his journey. Are we building a community as well on top of making it like a sustainable business where revenue and profits are earned? Is it community focused or is it like high volume selling? Community focused, okay. Are we only going to sell succulents in this nursery, or are there more things in the nursery? You can also shout out. Okay, succulent obsessed plant nursery, obsessed about it. So does that mean that he has exclusive varieties and like maybe like overseas purchases that you can place exclusive orders for? Oh, he can tap into Far East Flora's network to acquire the succulents. Okay, okay. So does he target high volume succulent buyers, repeat buyers in the community, or does he want to expand his audience? Expand or high volume repeat buyers? Expand. Okay, that means he's trying to bring more people into his community. Sorry, can I get the mic working? Okay. Yeah. So these are some of the things I'm on. And I just want to like sound out. I'm going to assume that this person does sales on what existing channel does this person have for his succulents? Yeah, like does he sell on website? Does he sell in a retail shop? Does he sell Telegram? Okay, he takes Telegram orders. Does he take WhatsApp orders? He takes WhatsApp orders as well. Does he have a Facebook group or a community? If he has a Facebook group and community. Thank you. But he also has a website. Okay, he has a website. Does he have e-commerce on his website? He has e-commerce on his website. Okay. So these are all important to know because then I'm going to decide, okay, I have all these things. How do I acquire people? Where am I going to direct them? So out of, like, I'm just going to come up with a couple of strategy on it, right? We'll do more. But do you think this person is going to run an ad campaign and wants to build a landing page? Or, like people click ad, they come to the landing page? Or do you think it's, for email subscribers or people who visit, like his Facebook group and then they can click in to the link? Which one? Okay, so he has a very active Facebook group. So the landing page is for people who click in from his Facebook group and trying to convert them into customers, okay? So the assumption is the Facebook group is catering to a community of individuals. They will be specialists who are succulent lovers and have, like spent years growing their succulents, who welcome new people who don't know about succulents and teach them as well. So these are some assumptions that I'm making. In terms of brand voice, is he like, the plant nursery and this founder, are they very serious? Are they, like very nature loving kind of person? Or is it like a very scientific, I love these patterns, I love these plant like species type of thing? Or is it like I want to share my love with you? Someone was nodding to something. Which one? Which one? Yeah, but you can make a choice. Okay, so a little bit more fun loving. And then it's more like I want to share the love of succulents with you. Okay, so I'm going to workshop. Let me just pull up a chair. So just for moving through this a little quickly, I have my iPad with me. Has anyone used ChatGPT on your mobile devices or a tablet? Nodding, right? And it has a voice function. So just for ease, I'm just going to talk to it and then refresh on my laptop, okay? Give me 1 minute. Okay, so I'm gonna show you like first the landing page GPT that I use for Hatch Media House. Can everybody hear me at the back? Okay. Yeah, it's okay. So I'm going to use the landing page GPT that I have for Hatch Media House, and you'll see like how it might take a prompt. Then we'll transfer over to regular Chat GPT, but I will also show you how I can take something similar into Framer and start like the basics of the design going already. Okay, so give me 1 moment. So what you're seeing is sort of like the custom GPT that we built. We've taught it like, like we give and feed like our, like the copy that we write for clients, our methodologies and our processes, and even some of the frameworks that we tend to use. You can build this all yourself. We have a separate workshop that is build a custom GPT. If you're interested, you can join us and we'll share more on how to build some of these things. Very easy, very approachable, but you don't need one of these to begin with. But also that if you're using like a paid version of ChatGPT, I think there's lots of these on the marketplace that you can use for some form to get you going. But at the same time, you can use any of the generic ChatGPT to get yourself going, and I'll walk you through how to prompt it for results closer to the end. So here, I'm going to use the voice function here, and then it will load here, and I will refresh, okay? So I will try to talk to ChatGPT. So I'm more of a speaking person. So some of you may discover that you're actually speaking people. So for you, it's easier to verbally share. Some of you will discover that you think and when you write. So you will have better outputs when you write. So you need to figure out which side you are on and allow yourself to talk to some of these AI agents in the easiest way possible. So I'm going to start. What's our nursery name? Success Succulent. SS. Okay. And the founder's name? Make up anything. Alex. Okay. Hey, I have a business called Success Succulents, and the founder is Alex. Alex comes from a background where the family is involved in like a large-scale plant business, and he is a very avid succulent lover. He has now ventured out into building his own little succulent community because he really loves it, and also he wants to build something that's different from the organization that he was brought up in and was a part of. But he has access to the same distributors and like plant networks. So he has access to very exclusive succulents as part of the industry. And he's able to bring them into Singapore for both succulent lovers and also for new people who are looking to get into this hobby for various reasons. And for him, he has an e-commerce website. He also sells through Telegram and WhatsApp. And he, most importantly, has a Facebook group where there's a very big community of succulent lovers. He wants to build a landing page so that he can link it to his Facebook group. And so any people, old or new, who are coming to the landing page from the Facebook group can order succulents. And we're not quite sure of the mechanics of how the order should take place on the landing page. But can you, before you go into creating sections for the landing page, can you go over the important considerations for the audience and how they relate to the landing page so we can make a choice on what primary goal to focus on for the landing page? So give me a minute and I will refresh. Yeah. Yeah. So the difference is because we've already set it up to create something in specific, you might have noticed that I'm not assigning any roles. I'm not saying you're an experienced marketer or maybe you're an experienced designer. Typically, when you work with ChatGPT, you have to assign roles and tell it what it's really good at to be able to get output that is customized and useful. Because I've already preset these instructions and also given it some forms of learning in terms of frameworks it can follow, so it can do our type of thinking. Like I can cut down on the initial prompts that I have to do to prime the conversation. Okay, so let me just refresh. Okay, so this is my initial prompt. If you all want to take a picture, I don't know if you want to, but it's there. Can I scroll? Okay, let me scroll here. So it's saying creating a landing page that engages both seasoned succulent lovers and newcomers, requires an understanding of the audience and what they need. So I didn't directly jump into asking for a landing page because first I want to prime the conversation because I'm going to use the conversation as an ongoing thread. So you want to prime the conversation with tidbits of information, make choices in the conversation, and then keep moving forward. So I'm going from very big picture to small picture. I'm not directly going, give me a landing page, because then very likely that you have encountered that you've given it a task straight off the bat, and then it's given you an output that you are not happy with, or you were like, I could have done better, and then you walked away feeling very dissatisfied with the output. So the conversation is a space where you can think of it as a lump of clay, and then you get to shape it and really define it. Except that because this is already like some form of specialist, you're not getting a lump of clay. Maybe you're getting a vase or a mug, but then when you use the general ChatGPT, you're really getting like that initial clay starter that you have to shape into specific things that you want. So the audience segmentation, it's identified that I have the two things, like the experience and the newcomers. Pain points is very helpful because I want to be able to address these on the landing page. For experienced enthusiasts, they might struggle to find rare or high quality succulents, and they are probably collectors looking for unique additions to their collection. For newcomers, they may be uncertain how to start, which plants are best for beginners, or how to properly care for succulents. And I feel like some of these ideas were brought up broadly in our conversation here as well when we went through this exercise. So here it's talking about the value proposition. For experienced enthusiasts, it's access to rare, exclusive, high-quality succulents sourced through Alex's unique network. And then for newcomers, it's a simplified introduction to succulent care with curated beginner-friendly selections and resources to help them succeed. And then it's going to go primary goal of the landing page. It's a sales conversion, like it's to help them purchase succulents directly. So that this could be the main goal, especially those who are coming from Facebook who are ready to buy. And then lead generation or community growth for newcomers who might not be ready to purchase. Secondary focus, like offering a free guide or a newsletter sign up or an exclusive community offer. So I feel like some of these options also came out. So the mechanics for ordering is what we haven't figured out, right? Like we just said purchase, but then it's very important to figure out the mechanics of what we're going to do on the landing page. Imagine you're doing Telegram selling, but then you say order, but then where will you send that link to if you don't figure out how to configure and connect it to Telegram or something like that, right? So we got to figure out some of the functionalities, especially when it comes to conversion actions. So here it says a direct purchase, maybe like an add to cart feature, or maybe like a guided shopping. So here, as some of you had options, there's like a quiz that suggests succulents based on their preferences or experience level, or maybe like exclusive offers, time limited or member exclusive offers to drive urgency and reward loyal community members. I'm not sure if this third one is actually needed because I feel like people will make purchase when they are ready for newcomers. And then I know for a fact that for any type of collectors, and let's say 20, 30 or 50 pieces of a rare succulent is made available, they will just purchase it before it's even needed to be announced or marketed if they have a community. So I feel like creating like exclusive, like time-based urgency is not really required here in the sense. Maybe it could be like an occasional seasonal one, maybe like like succulents for your Chinese New Year or something like that, but it doesn't have to be necessarily here. Supporting elements, testimonials, social proof, so it's like display reviews, testimonials from current members, educational content, so like care kits, beginner guides, or link to relevant blog posts or videos. Call to action, I like it because it says it's already giving me actions that I can focus on. So it says browse rare succulents, shop now. For newcomers, it's start your succulent journey or get your free care guide. I feel like these are really, really nice. And then given these considerations, ChatGPT is making a recommendation. It's saying the focus should be sales conversion, and then maybe potentially the secondary goal can be lead generation and community engagement. So then it's saying, okay, would you like to proceed with specific sections? So what I'm going to do is I'll respond in like, how I would respond when I'm presented with something like this, and then I'll refresh again. So I'll say, I really like the options you have presented, and I feel like the pain points and the value proposition that you have identified is quite nice. Agree that the primary goal should be sales conversion. I think to simplify it, maybe not like an add to cart, but maybe like a link that goes to Telegram to purchase. I'm quite worried about the user journey because I feel like I might alienate either like the experienced enthusiasts or the newcomers if the content is mixed, and I'm wondering if you can create clarity on how to order the sections based on that. And I think like just like a general newsletter sign up is fine, or maybe, but I also like the personality quiz idea. What I don't want is I don't want to create like time-based urgency for exclusive offers, but I like the guided shopping experience for newcomers. So I think what I want now is I take away all the things I don't want, and then give me like a simplified potential user journey and different section ideas for each audience. And should I be creating a different landing page for each, or is there a way to combine? And so I can have a single landing page for both types of audiences. So what you saw is I'm now shaping further with the conversation. Something I don't often see people doing is they don't share what they like or don't like in the responses. ChatGPT really has no sense of like what's right or what's wrong, what's good or what's bad. It's just predicting things based on what it's seen before or what people have asked more of. So you need to be vocalizing what you like and what you don't like, what you want more of or what you want less of. So you're really like the creative driver when you are creating the content here. So in this way, this entire thing, what took us manually like 5 minutes, and I went through the entire room. So that's like 5 times 20 people. That's how much time collectively it took us to come up with these ideas. But in a matter of minutes, it came up with a robust, like, detailed section on just like, in one page that I can refine it. So before you go ahead with any landing page or idea, I would recommend that you clarify your ideas by having it in black and white here so that you can either agree to it or disagree to it, and move forward so that there is clarity. When you see it in black and white, there's a certainty of making a decision to go forward with it or not, and that is very helpful. So I'm going to refresh. So this was my prompt. Again, if you want to take a picture, is anybody taking a picture? Or you can just tell me if you're not. I will go forward. And you can also see that if you have misspellings and other things, it's fine. It gets the gist of what you're asking for. Make it an ongoing conversation where you're not just asking it for a certain output straight out of the gate, but you are taking that opportunity to frame the context as well. So then here, it's already giving me like a user journey and different sections. We just spoke about ideas and different sections, but now because landing pages are linear things, so we need to think about what is going to be the most important thing on top. So here it's giving me like a user journey, provide section ideas, and discuss a structure to accommodate both audiences, which was my ask. And then it will say hero, clear value-driven appeals to both groups. Example, discover rare and exclusive succulents or start your succulent journey today. And then it says sub-headline, whether you're a seasoned collector or a beginner, we have something special for you. And then it says dual call to actions, meaning it's saying put 2 buttons there. So each person, depending on which category they belong to, will immediately be taken to that section. I feel like that idea is really good. So it's like explore rare succulents, and then It could be like take a succulent quiz. Segmented content pathway. And then it's proposing like a short intro, welcomes both audiences for, like for newcomers and experienced enthusiasts. And then below the button, again, there is so below the video, there's 2 buttons. So here it's clearly thinking, I have a very different types of audience coming. I need to be able to hold the attention of both audiences, what might be really relevant for them and how might I get them to click on whatever fulfills their journey. So then for experienced enthusiasts are taken directly to this section where there'll be like a rare succulent showcase, a purchase call to action, social proof, and a newsletter sign up. And then here for newcomers, it will be guided shopping experience, beginner-friendly plans, educational content, and a purchase call to action. So you can see in both sections, it has a purchase call to action, which is the primary objective of the landing page. And then it's saying newsletter sign up. And then it's saying actually, you see how it's very interesting, even though the newsletter is there for both things, it's providing different values. So here is again very clever marketing because inside on the newsletter, I can segment the 2 audiences and send them different things based on which blog they signed up on. This is just another technicality of setting up right. So that on the back end, I can tag the relevant, like, if it's their experience, I can tag them as experience. So I will only like release new collections, rare collections. Because I feel like if I release them to newcomers, they will be too overwhelmed very easily. They might unsubscribe. But then if I send the beginner guides to experienced enthusiasts, they'll be like, do you not know me? Kind of a feeling. So we want to be sure that we don't appear spammy and we hit them with the right form of content. So to be very honest, there is a content strategy here already. And it's likely going to be attached to like the broader content goals that Alex might have for the university. Then it says there's a combined community section and also says it's optional, encouraging users to join a Facebook group or the Telegram channel and a library of shared resources and a final call to action and then anything else. So now it's actually thinking through itself. It's like I gave you what you asked for, but let me actually think through what's a good action. So in a sense, whenever you're working with ChatGPT, you want to ask it to critique itself. In here, it's a 1-step process, but it's okay even if it takes an additional step. But you want to ask it to find the pros and cons or poke holes in its own thing, because sometimes we may not be experienced enough to identify it ourselves. So it's good to at least know it and address it. So the pros is it's cohesive, it's simplified, and then the cons is it requires careful design to ensure clarity for both user groups. Separate landing pages, pros tailored, more focused, cons requires managing multiple pages and split traffic and reduce overall engagement. So, and it also gives you a final recommendation, which is I want a single well-structured landing page. Use segmented content pathway early in the page so people can self-select and will scroll down to that section, which I find is very interesting and kind of works because they are not like extremely long sections anyway. So yeah. So what do you all think of this? Should we go ahead with the single landing page? Yeah, okay. So before I go into this, I'm going to jump into Framer. It's a little bit of a side quest and a segue. But I want you to see how like design can also come in. This is the part where I'm already seeing the different content sections coming up. I want to know like what it's going to be like in design and get like a baseline design goal. It doesn't have to fully align with this yet, but I want to get it going. So when you go into Framer, so here, okay, we'll go to this. I just want to find like a I'm going into Framer. It's a free account. And then it will ask you to start a new page and you'll be presented with something that looks like this. Anybody uses Figma in this room? Figma, I see some nods. So Framer is like Figma in terms of how the design thinking is set up. There's a couple of other website builders out there. Like apart from Wix, there's also Squarespace, similar to Wix. And there's also like ReadyMan, which is also like drag and drop sort of builder. Then there's things like Webflow. Webflow is very good because it's a no-code tool and you can do quite a lot of things with it, but it's also a little bit of a learning curve. So I feel like Framer is on the like slightly easier, more approachable side. And so very interestingly, keep watching my page. On the top part here, it's called Actions. Once I click it, it says AI generate page. So I'm actually going to give it a prompt. Design a landing page for a succulent nursery called Success Succulents. Succulents for experienced succulent plant owners as well as beginners to explore and purchase succulents for experienced folks. They want to explore, discover, and purchase rare new succulents that are in stock. For new beginners, they want to discover which succulent is the right fit and start their succulent journey and learn how to take care of their new purchase. Okay, the goal of the page is to have a bottom section for each audience and convert sales. But just because I wrote this doesn't mean that you will actually get what you're asking for. So we'll see how the AI interprets it, and then we'll also see how it's seeking to like, the design. It's not actually thinking, it's just generating a design, so you'll see what I mean. So I'll hit start. So let's say you are trying Framer, it's free, and even on the free plan, it will generate quite a few designs. You just have to have a cool-off period in between for 5 minutes before you generate new designs. But it has started out and given me something already. So if you notice, it's called it succulency, embrace the thorny side of life. It's written copy on its own. And then it's chosen like, like these type of icons. And then it says flourishing or just starting out, we've got your back. Experienced and adventurous, dive right into our rare and unique succulents. Be the plant parent that your succulent babies deserve. And this section, it says, trying not to kill your first plant, don't stress it. We'll guide you straight to succulent success. The right plant awaits you. So I feel like the tone is kind of fun and witty. Maybe the design could use a little bit of help, but it's not bad. Like it's okay for a first pass. And it's also, it doesn't know what ChatGPT is planning because it's clearly in a different section, but I'm able to bring it into this easily if I like the design style. So if you are a, like existing brand, what you can do is you can directly like select some of these. So for example, if you see the theme, you can shuffle it. Like the same colors, you can decide how it applies into this section. So let's say maybe I start with this. You can also start with like, change some of the fonts here very quickly. So it has like a big selection of fonts available on the platform. So all you're making is, if you have a brand guide, you already know what fonts you're using, or maybe your favorite font already. Otherwise, you can just, work with what it has. And then you can swap it. And it's giving me 3 versions actually, Framer. This is for the website, like the desktop. This is for the tablet. This is for the phone. And then here in this section, it's already written some things, and then it's giving you these things. But this is a drag and drop builder. So if let's say I want a different section, remember I said I want like a video section. So I'm just going to go into insert, and when I click on sections, you can see how, oh, you can't really see. I don't know if you can see, but I'm going to try to zoom in. But actually the contrast isn't there, but they are sections pre-built. So you can just choose it. That means that you can say, I want like a background image with the text in the middle. I will apply it to the big one and see if it will turn up. So let's say I want maybe like, instead of this in the top, I added this. So here I can just add an image here. I can choose an image and then, like add my copy here and then put in the content here. Remember, we wanted dual buttons. So here I can just immediately add like one image from the plant nursery. So in that sense, even if some of the sections don't feel right, it's very quick to just like take what ChatGPT has given you, identify in the layout, like you don't have to create anything from scratch here in that sense, really. Everything is pre-built here, so go home and try this. I know it's hard to see on this screen. There's even different types of galleries and layouts. There's even like a section here with testimonials that you can fill in like this, like a wall of love type of thing. So all of these are pre-built. You can make the choices that feel right. So I'm just going to go back to ChatGPT and clarify like the different sections. Once I have it, it's just bringing that here and going live with it. How Kramer typically works, yeah, if you just actually click publish here, it gives you like a free domain, and then it's live on the internet. So you can actually like come up with like a unique, like, okay, like if my name is Anya Likita, I'd be like Anya's portfolio, Anya's design portfolio. It's likely that it may not be taken. So it will just be this URL over here. This, I'll just copy it, and then it's actually live here. I can start scrolling this website immediately. So some considerations would be that, if I'm creating the website here, do I want to connect like a domain here? Like what if your website is already existing on WordPress? Or what if your website is already existing on Wix or Squarespace? You can choose to take the same exercise and, like ChatGPT content and put it there as well, because you can also get it to make a checklist of how many images you need or what assets you need to create. But you don't need all of that to start with. So you can just quickly get its help to create all of these sections. And then you can, I think the paid one, if you want to connect a paid domain, it's paid, but you can very quickly start and put it into the Facebook group, because I don't think community members really care whether it's on like a domain or not. Sometimes if you're using for ads, you need it on a domain because they allow you to send ad traffic only to a domain that you are verified to send to. So it's a little challenging. So in this regard, if you're adding a link to the community, you already have it. And for us, it's just to go back to ChatGPT and refine it. So here, I would actually say, I'm ready. Can you create copy that is fun and also a little witty, but not in a cringy way? First date with a plant, that's cute. Yeah. So let's play matchmaker. Find the succulent that's destined to thrive with you. I think some of it is really cute. But let's say that you want to play around with some of the things. What you're going to ask is, can I see some options for the headlines? For the headlines, go from very witty and funny to a mildly amusing. We'll see what it says. So the important thing is start from the first section that you want to create copy for, and then you want to nail down the tone before you go ahead and create the copy for the next things. And ideally, you want to ask it to give you options so you can look at it and decide what you like or what you don't want to see. So here you can see I asked for very witty and funny. I'm not sure if its idea of very witty and funny is the same as mine. I feel like what Framer created is funnier in some places. So you can keep those, which is why it's helpful to have two things. Rare finds in beginner phase, discover your new plant bestie. I quite like the discover your new plant bestie kind of vibe, and I think it makes the plants more playful. So I'll say I like the, can you write the hero section? Is that. So you look at it and then you go, what, who would use the word savant in like a page? And then you say, I think the use of the word savant is complicated. Make it simple and easy to understand and build trust with and connect. So you gotta keep giving it feedback. Don't rest until you get like a good beginner section, because then what happens is when you go further down, it understands you better and it's remembering that because you're in the same thread. So here, just starting out, we've got the perfect plant partner for you. Explore red finds, take the quiz and find your perfect match. Okay, I feel like this is a good part. And then I'll go right the next section. So we just keep going down this way. And then let's say at some point you're like, I don't know which sections need visuals. You can also do this thing where you say, hey, can you suggest which sections need visuals and create visual guide for me so I can narrow down on images. So here, maybe it's trying to attach like, okay, this sense of, if I'm going for images, this is how I can link the images to the different section, because some of you do worry about design, right? And then if you want, you can actually ask it to guide you. ChatGPT won't be able to create the design, but it's certainly giving you that guide when there is like a, like that confidence gap sometimes. So you can use that as like your co-pilot to sound out some of the things. So you towards the end, you can even say, can you create a checklist of all the assets I need to make your life easy? Can you imagine trying to follow everything? And then at the end, it's so complicated because you've written so many sections. So in that sense, it will make it really quick when you ask it for like a checklist as well. Okay. Visuals needed, striking, high quality, beautiful, succulent arrangement, ideally showcasing a mix of rare and beginner-friendly plants. Very interesting, because I would not have thought of it. I would just have put any succulent there. But this is informative for me because now I'm thinking about the audience who might look at that succulent image and immediately judge. Like that experienced succulent enthusiast immediately is going to know whether this is for them or not. Maybe that image is going to be off-putting. And then, for the segmented pathway, it's showing you like actions and even giving you names of the variations that you can look for inside stock images. Then let's say if I want to go with illustrations, can you suggest a fun illustration style and create a succulent icon? So one thing to note is, maybe not in this immediate one, but ChatGPT does have some image creation options. It has DALL-E, which is the image generator. So for some things, it will try to create, but it might not be a win or a hit immediately off the bat. So you need to go back and forth a little bit to try with it. But that means that some of the things is already started for you here. And you can even give it like a reference image and say, can you create based on this reference, and things like that. So I feel like this is not bad. This doesn't look spammy. This doesn't look bad. So if I was creating, I have so many elements that are already ready from here. than if I just have Wix or, for example, Framer in this case, that already have drag and drop builders. I can actually go live within the hour, right? I have pretty much everything that I need. I probably only just need like the link to place the order, and then I would hit connect. Maybe if I'm not very sure, like, like assuming that Alex is on the community, I would just take like posts from the community for the testimonials itself. Like, people saying, hey, I purchased it, it was great. Like all of these are within reach for you. Maybe there was a section where they said make a video. Only that one, I would wait until I have the opportunity to create it. But in that sense, I'm ready to go live with it and I don't have to complicate so many parts of this. Any questions? Any questions? This is mostly for media house client work, but I will do a final prompt so you know how you can access the same level of output in the regular chat. Yeah. Yeah. So what you want to start with a prompt that says you are an experienced marketer and marketing designer. You have over 10 years of experience creating marketing content that really relates to audiences and different brands. Today, you're going to be helping me create a landing page. First, you're going to ask me about my audience and my brand and what they care about and their pain points, and help me organize my thoughts around creating a marketing strategy. Next, you're going to help me figure out the best structure for the landing page using the industry standards and best practices to figure out a landing page that is optimized for conversion. Then you're going to help me do copywriting towards the end when I have finalized on all of the above. And you're going to use industry frameworks and best copywriting frameworks. You're going to suggest different frameworks that may be right for this, and I will choose which is the best one that I want to go with and help me choose the tone of voice. You will not go ahead without me choosing to say, yes, I'm ready to go ahead and I have made my choice. So do not jump or skip to the end output. Wait for me every step of the way. If you don't say the last part, it will directly jump to the end output. So every time you give it a prompt, you will try to go to the end. Have you experienced that where it's very, like very impatient? Like, I just need to do what you told me. Yeah, so it will do that. So that is how you would frame the first part of the ask. So, like the things about the frameworks that I shared, it's basically, I might have collated a list of copywriting frameworks and, design best practices, given it examples of tone of voice. It doesn't need my input, but it can pick up from what it knows. And when you are unsure, you can ask it to browse the internet in between. When it gives you options, you can say, hey, can you browse the internet for the best copywriting frameworks for a high converting landing page? And then make a choice. What you don't know, it's okay. You can ask ChatGPT. So are you all excited to try? Excited? There's quite a lot that you can do. I feel like if you have any project, or even just like, sometimes I just make one for my pet. Like I imagine my cat trying to sell apples on top of them. So we made one image. So it's quite fun. I would say engage all of these tools as co-pilots. You are the creative driver of this entire process. But it's making it easy for you to just go up and running in, like really, really, really easy, quick way. And you don't have to stay really like held back with ideas, because the rapid prototyping means you can always look at analytics setup. By the way, some of the analytics you can set up, it's called Hotjar. They have a free plan and you can see how users are interacting with your page. You can analyze that and then update the page based on what they're doing. And then Google Analytics, also free. You can see how people are interacting on the page. They have a step-by-step guide online on how to set it up, but it's pretty easy, and most platforms like Wix, for example, have integrations. So use analytics to then optimize. After you go 0 to 1, you can go 1.5, 2. You don't have to have everything like validated before you go live. So that's my final tip. Any questions before we wrap up? You remember the software I shared about? You wrote it down? Framer. And then ChatGPT will be your best friend, but if you have access to Claude, it is a better writing and thinking assistant. So try out the same prompt on Claude, try out the same prompt on ChatGPT and see which one you like better. CLAUDE. Yeah. Yeah, you can save it. Yeah, just go section by section and say, go ahead. Yes, I like this. Go ahead. Change this. Wait until you go ahead, change this time. So that's why I structure it that way. Yeah. Yeah, so actually a bit hard to see on this, but then on Framer, for the different like content styles, it actually has different layouts here. So you'll have to I've zoomed in too much. Here it is. So when you click on insert, you'll actually see sections. And each of these sections, for example, this is a review, this is a form, this is a 3-column pricing layout. This is an FAQ section. This is like a logo section with a step by. This is like a sign up today with 2 links at the bottom. So, and then like, for example, this is like a content on the left, image on the right. This one is like, you can't see it, but there's actually 2 images. So it's like sections of image with content on the right. So it actually has presets. So all you're going to do is you can tell ChatGPT, this is my preset. Or usually when we say landing pages, ChatGPT also knows the types of sections and the length of copy. So once you copy, paste it, and choose the right section for it, and you find it's a little too long, you either delete some of it yourself or ask ChatGPT to shorten it. So you have to do a little bit of a match. There are tools like Figma out there where you can have plugins. So there's this other tool called Musho. Write it down if any of you are Figma users. MUSHO, where you can do copywriting and design in the same thing. But I'm not recommending that because Figma is a very design-heavy environment and it's not meant to go live immediately. You still need to develop it. So I'm not recommending that if we are beginners. Yeah. So there's still a little bit of like copied into the layout, but we are not too far because some of the layout is already matched. And then you can just add sections and add in accordingly. With time and practice, it gets faster. What I would also say, if you find yourself creating templates like landing pages repeatedly, you can just save it as a template. So the next time you are reusing just different sections of it. So if you already have a brand website, you can just save sections of that brand website on the back end. So all you need to do is populate it with the content that you get from ChatGPT. Because the design part is pre-built and you're saving it. So in Framer, you're either accessing it as sections, or maybe in your website, you're accessing it as pre-built templates for you. Any final questions? Yeah. I guess for you is pick out like a hobby or maybe a side project or your business or your organization and try out the two techniques, one on Framer and one on ChatGPT, and see how it goes and optimize from there. Now, we have come to the end of today's session. Thank you so much, everybody.
I'm very sorry. But it really helps us a lot to kind of understand how things are going. This program is part of the Go Digital ASEAN program that is supported by the Asia Foundation and Google.org, which is the philanthropic arm of Google. So the purpose of the program is to kind of increase the digital knowledge on how to increase your digital marketing efforts, how can you use AI tools better, and things like that. And we're doing it together with ACE as part of helping some of you who are trying to be entrepreneurs gain some immediate skills that you can kickstart your digital marketing. So there's a whole line of like different workshops that's coming up. If you are free and you want to learn more, we have posted different live streams on our Facebook page. But you can also come and attend for the next few upcoming workshops that's happening from now till mid of October. Okay. I'm gonna just flash the. Yeah. So if you can scan this, if you finish the survey, there's a $5 Grab voucher that will be credited to you. But it is a very long survey. I just need you to know that. Okay, I just need to wait for the voucher. Yeah, but you can continue doing it at home and things like that. So thank you everyone, and that's the end of this section. If you have any questions, we're still around. You can come and speak to us and ask us. Okay. Thank you so much.
We have lots more trainings. Please do check out. There's more about, sort of AI tools for marketing. There's also like brand and content storytelling. There's also how to build custom GPT, how to enhance your workflow using low code automations.
Yeah,
lots of things.
Yeah. We are going to just put this here so you can continue. I also send out the survey link if you are rushing off to anywhere. I'm mindful that it's a little bit past 5. And then, yeah, so if you have any other questions, just feel free to reach out to us. You have our emails and contacts, and we'll see you at the next one.
Yes. And also share how it goes, when you go out and try, if you feel that right in, we're here to support.